Okay, so this is part one of a two-part test that we did with the Smooth Q gimbal. Couple shots in a neighborhood here. You'll notice the gimbal is shaking just a little bit. Not sure why, whether that's the phone, that it's not balanced completely right, or it's a little bit too heavy. I have an OtterBox on the phone. Up and down movement is kind of normal with these gimbals, but from walking, the side to side is a little strange. Doesn't appear to be doing it as bad here. Little stumble right there as I handed the gimbal to myself through those swings. Normally you would hand it to someone else. Again, a little bit of shaky side to side. And remember, the image stabilization on the camera is off too, only using the gimbal. Take a look at that again. This is color graded and stabilized in post. I like how the iPhone flares even without a lens adapter. This is just the regular iPhone lens right now. Here we're switching to a new location out by a lake, and it was pretty windy, and so we think the wind did affect the gimbal a little bit. These side-to-side kind of shots are fun, and they work pretty well with this gimbal. I'm walking through some pretty rough terrain though. So here's the same thing, a continuation with the shot stabilized in post and color graded, just to kind of get an idea how it could look. This shot's pretty bumpy. We'll come back to this later and we redo it, but gives you an idea of tilting down and going into a shot. I like to use foreground objects, stuff in front of the frame when I am using gimbals or Steadicams, sort of like this shot here, going between these two columns or walking down a hallway. Just always adds a little bit of depth, adds perspective to the shot. More bounciness here, a little bit of the wind, and again, maybe the camera, the phone is a little too heavy. Still no image stabilization turned on within the FiLMiC Pro app, only using the gimbal. But it seems like it maybe should be steadier. I'm not sure. I have a traditional Osmo, not the Osmo Mobile, and the Osmo definitely feels less bouncy. A lot of this can be fixed in post-production, or corrected, I should say, with image stabilization, but it'd be nice to get it right in the gimbal. So we'll look at this again. Looks pretty good. You can't get rid of the up and down, but overall, not bad. Now these kind of shots are cool with this gimbal. You don't see the horizon, so you don't really see any up and down. There's not much shake, just kind of a nice flowing shot over the ground. Can be kind of ominous. Running here, so definitely bouncy. Again, no stabilization turned on in the camera app. Here that is again, color graded and stabilized in post. Not bad. It's effective, a little bouncy, but could work. Now here we're redoing the shot we did earlier, and this is much better. Better footwork. Don't really see much bounce, a little bit up and down. Nice tilt down to reveal the boathouse there in the distance. Good establishing shot. Watching this again, color graded with film convert and stabilized with warp stabilizer. Looks pretty good. Maybe one little hiccup there in the stabilization, but overall pretty decent. Now we're shooting underslung here, or inverted. Cool way to shoot. This has too much up and down for my taste. First time we had tried it though with this gimbal. Got to work on the walk, the ninja walk, the gimbal walk, duck walk, I guess. Same with this, like the foreground stuff, some lens flares. It's always nice to have stuff you're going across or close to the camera when you're using gimbals or Steadicams. Back to normal, later in the day, less windy. These side-to-side shots can be fun with this gimbal. Walking over some pretty tough terrain here. Pretty steady though. Looks like we're spying on someone, or like it's someone creeping up on someone in a horror film. So we'll play with this color correction day for night. Have a little fun. Okay, back to normal, uncolor corrected footage. One thing with gimbals, it's always cool to do reveals or to do 180s or 360s around objects like this sign. Or to use foreground objects going past something to reveal something else like this boat. Moving pretty quickly here, a little bouncy but going down an incline as well. We'll check this out again. Color corrected, same shot, stabilized in post. Pretty effective, looks good. That got rid of most of the bounciness. Using gimbals, again, going by stuff, having foreground objects, or having stuff where you're going down lines is always nice. Creates perspective and depth. Camera bounces a little bit, not too bad. Graded here, black and white, and stabilized. Looks pretty good. Coming off a tree, tilting down, revealing something, and then tracking. It's always a nice look in gimbals. So in part 2 of this, we'll show what we think is the best way and our favorite way to use the gimbal, including slow-mo and image stabilization in the camera app. Thanks for watching.